Right, I hope you guys are well. Today I'm going to be fitting a rev counter to bobber. I have fitted one before and there is a video about that. It was actually this guy here with a shift light on it and stuff. I had it mounted in front of the speedo there and it was quick release for being on the drag strip. But the problem was, because it was in front of the speedo, I kept forgetting to turn the traction control off, and that was a problem while I was drag racing. But now I've got myself a smaller one with a shift light in it as well. I did want to get an auto meter one, but they're really expensive, and I worked out they're really quite big and bulky as well. So this should do the job quite nicely. I'm actually putting a rev counter on it because the one in the dash is actually useless while you try to ride. And I need to keep an eye on what the engine's doing because I'm supercharging it and doing a lot of modifications, so I really need to keep an eye on things. Which is why I'm also putting a boost gauge on it, and I've got an air-fuel ratio gauge as well, which helps me tune the ECU. So today I'm going to show you how to wire it in and how I'm going to go about fitting it, which I'm not sure about yet. So if you get anything out of this video, don't forget to like and all that good stuff, and if you comment as well, it really helps me with the algorithm and I really do appreciate it. Right, so the first thing we need to do is actually get the fuel tank off, because all the wiring and stuff you need to get to is under the fuel tank. Pretty simple really. Two 12mm bolts there and it slides back, and you've got to get the pipes and stuff off as well. But we might not need to do that because we might be able to move it far enough back that we don't need to bother touching them. You alright, furry? It's full of fuel. Right, and just here is sort of where we need to get to, I believe. I've actually already got wiring here from when I put a rev counter in before, but I'm going to show you where I've actually wired this into, and I'm going to tidy it up a little bit as well. I've actually ran a wire going down by the frame and down here somewhere, so I reckon I've taken an ignition feed off of the fuse box there, and I've got feed from my lights back there somewhere as well, I reckon. Right, here we've got the fuse box which sits under here. It would be underneath your airbox, or in my case I don't have an airbox, so it's just in here. And this is where I've taken the ignition feed from, and I've also actually ran an earth lead down to the earth strap there, so you've got power and earth coming from here, and then the wire's running up there. I did actually have it wired into the headlight fuse as well, so it knows when the lights are on. But that doesn't really matter because the lights come on with the ignition anyway, so I might just use the lighting circuit on the rev counter from the ignition feed up there as well. And up the top here I've got a wire going to the coil, and I'll show you that in a minute. So because I've already got the old rev counter plug wired into my wiring, I'm not going to get involved in where I've joined it into the wiring there because that's too complicated, because it's got the AFR gauge and stuff wired in there as well. I'm just going to go straight to the old rev counter wiring. The plug's different, so I've got to change it, you see. So that's what I'm going to do there. So we're going to get into the old rev counter wiring and join it there. And I just blew a fuse doing that. There must be a permanent feed there. Right, I don't know if you can see that, just behind here, that's my multi-plug from the AFR gauge control unit. That there is the ignition coil, and that there is the negative terminal, so that's where you get your RPM signal from. So I've just made a little patch lead to tap into that, and that's where you wire the green wire for your rev counter, which is the RPM signal. There, get a bit of paint on that, and that should be good. Well, Sometimes things don't work out, but you need to try them to see what they're going to work out like. It's like Thomas Edison said when he invented the light bulb. I haven't failed 10,000 times, I've discovered 10,000 ways that don't work. So you've just got to go ahead and go for it and start and see what happens. I've got it pissed like that because you very rarely look at the RPM when they're there. This is where your field of vision is. The reason I've cut all these wires different lengths is so if you cut them all the same length, you have all the joins in the same place. And what that means is it's normally thicker because they're all together. And if the joint comes apart or the insulation comes apart, there's more likelihood of the joins shorting out together. But if they're sort of staggered, that's less likely to happen. Them together. I really struggle doing this sort of thing now. My eyes aren't what they used to be. This is why I don't chuck things away. I'm still getting use out of these old Super Trap mufflers I made. Even this little offcut here has come in useful because I've welded that to that. I didn't film the welding because that's a pretty tedious thing because I'm still learning to weld, so you didn't really want to see that. But that'll do the job for now. Safety police will be on to me. I love zip ties. They're one of the most highly underrated things in the world, I reckon. They're strong, they're light, they're easy to remove, so they're so quick to use for things like race cars and bikes and stuff. There, that's going nowhere, and that's pretty neat. Looks quite neat. That's hidden underneath. I'm a big zip tie fan. Right, it's there. It's not actually that pretty, but it is functional. I've actually got my air fuel ratio gauge. That's where the boost gauge is going, and the air fuel ratio gauge is going to go up there. And I've also got some little pods to put that in, and my boost gauge as well. So these two are going to swap places. There's a lot going on there, but this is stuff I'm going to need when I'm sort of setting it up with the supercharger. And then once it's all set up, I don't really probably need all this on there, because it does actually go against what I believe a true bobber is, like actually bobbing a bike, taking the bits off to add performance. But this is all stuff I need, so I probably will take it all off again once everything's running right, because you don't really need a rev count with the bobber, because it's got so much torque, it doesn't matter what gear you're in. So that's that then. It's quite a challenging little project to actually get everything functional and make it not look too crappy. I don't think it looks too bad, but at the end of the day, this is about developing the bike, making it go faster, and these are things I need at the moment to help me tune the ECU and stuff like that, especially when I get the supercharger on it and we start talking about boost. So don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, but more importantly, have a great day.